Good evening, all. So today we'll discuss about the last session, and then we'll see the question papers, and we'll finish the syllabus for advanced financial management. So for Monday onwards, there will be no online session for AFM. So we discussed Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and now we're talking about most important last part, that is capital budgeting. The term capital budgeting is investment in capital and analysis of long-term investment. So here we are dealing with the funds which are used for investment, the funds which are used for further revenue generation. So in capital budgeting method, we are evaluating the different methods, risk and project. We are evaluating the inflow of cash in future, and on that basis, by using any one method or combination of methods, we are checking which project is suitable for me and which is not. So capital budgeting is integration of different processes, methods, and tools where we are dealing with risk assessment, evaluation of output, and profit generation of different capital investment opportunities. What is capital budgeting? It's a process of evaluating and selecting long-term investment, considering growth, value maximization, and ensuring compliance with the risk associated. So in capital budgeting method, I'm just analyzing my capital investments, my long-term investments, and the prospective returns. I compare that whatever the returns available, whatever the investment I made, they are generating some income towards my side. So that is all capital budgeting. Then what are the methods of capital budgeting? The first method is profitability index. In profitability index, I will compare the projects and analyze based on their profits after applying PV factor. Then internal rate of return, it is a percentage to calculate rate of return over my investment. Whereas in net present value, I'm comparing the future flow and their value based on the cost of capital budgeting investment. So we already discussed this. The internal rate of return is discounted net profit income which I receive. So accounting rate of return and internal rate of return, they differ only two. In IRR, I calculate discounted value, that is after multiplying PV ratio. In accounting rate of return, I just understand how much money I received and I calculate the same. The profit index indicates the future flow of discounted capital, that is after applying P factor and compare with initial investment. I check the returns generated with investment and find out which is good or bad. Compared to all these three methods, net present value is more systematic approach and personally appeal method, whereas IRR and profit index, they are easy to understand and not so complex to solve. But NPV is the most accurate method to measure. It can be discounted or it can be a normal rate of return. Then what are the source of risk regarding to capital budgeting? The first is market risk. In market risk, we have economic cycle, market pricing, nature of competition, customer preferences, and so on. Then we have operational risk. We talk about operational challenges, cost factor, operational efficiency, productivity, and so on. If I talk about some external factors, it first talks about government rules, technological, economic, and marketing disruptions. It talks about stakeholders' response to the market stimulus and so on. And in the last, the risk associated with capital investing is estimation, that is the capacity to understand future flow and plan accordingly. So, for any capital investing, I have market risk, economic cycle risk, volatile risk, change in customer preference risk, change in technology risk, cost of operational efficiency, risk about financial disruption, change in pricing strategies, and government interface. So these all risks are associated with capital budget. To avoid this, I need to find the best alternative for capital decision. I need to think on realistic valuation and analyze each investment option in long run. And basically, I need to avoid my loss. If not able to avoid my loss, I need to optimize that loss, whatever I'm making, it's in positive favor. Now, what are techniques to manage the risk? The first is sensitivity analysis. In sensitivity analysis, I will identify the risk domains and I will try to eliminate the maximum elements possible. I cannot make risk zero, but I can at least try to make it negligible or to avoid it too much when possible. The second is scenario analysis. In scenario analysis, what I'm doing is I'm analyzing the situation and comparing that with the past records. Suppose I'm at recession, then I'll just take what happened with recession I have done. I'll compare that strategy with current strategy and take my decision. Or I will find out similar situation with other company and then take my call. The third is break-even analysis. Now, break-even we already covered in second semester in finance specialization, or we are covered in first semester in economics. So that analysis help to find out what is my optimum level, what is my minimum level, and to identify feasibility of any project based on margin of safety and where my angle of incidence actually happens. The last method to manage the risk is Monte Carlo simulation. This is probability model. Under this simulation, I will make with some permutation and combination about the workouts. I will try to analyze which is good thing, which is a bad thing. And based on simulation, I will make probability which is more risky, which is less risky. And then I will understand the potential loss and I'll take key decisions for avoiding this potential loss. Now let's understand what is capital rationing, which is the most important part of this project. When the funds available for my business are limited and I have multiple opportunities, then if I target to a single project, I may lose the interest, I may lose the opportunity, and I may have a limitation in market because I'm not able to capture the ability. So what I need to do is a capital rationing. In capital rationing, I will rank the multiple projects on different investment methods and capital rationing techniques. And then I can decide which method is more suitable, which method is less suitable. And based on my suitability, I have to take a call that what strategy I should follow. I should need to evaluate the best and the least projects. I need to compare these all two projects and understand how I can do the rationing. So, in analyzing capital rationing, I will evaluate the best project, I will evaluate the least best project, and according to the strategic advantage and capacity, I will allocate the available capital in proportionate to all the projects. And then I'll take a call regarding the capital budget. Now, what are the criteria which are normally followed for project selection. The first criteria is whether that project is strategically in alignment or that project is suitable to the strategy which I'm adopting or which I'm following, whether that project is in parallel approach towards my concerns. Second, whether these projects are appreciated and concerned by various external factors like legal factors, economical factors, and expectation and trends of market. The other metric which I need to consider when I selecting the project is impact over my goodwill, morale of employees, and competitive advantage if any I have. I need to ensure that the value or brand reputation is not compromised and it is being benefited. So, in short, I need to ensure the benefit of investment in long run with profitability and goodwill. And in the last, I need to evaluate the maximum analysis of my projects based on various methods. It can be payback method, it can be accounting rate of return, it can be profit index, and so on. Based on, I will evaluate net present value and I can select the project. There is always a dispute about project selection, whether I should select discounted method or realistic method. But it is always advocated that discounting method is the most appropriate method because it will work out for uncertainty and help me for risk minimization. Now there are two discounting methods. One is equivalent method and second is real discount method. Equivalent methods based on my amount of profits available to me. Whereas the cash flow with decided percent. So in equivalent method, the rate of interest is adopted from market rates, but in real discount, I'll adopt the rate of interest based on the my pre-decided. Then there are certain advanced methods which are used. First is net present value sensitivity. In sensitivity analysis, what I'll do is I will categorize the portfolio the different domains apart from only finance. I will do the simulation and understand the impacting factors, their price and their returns, and I will allocate the funds after judging their returns. For example, marketing factors, economic factors, profitable factors, brand strategy factors, and so on. Then the another method which I can choose is scenario analysis, where I will have variety of scenarios under which my projects are maybe possible, and considering this possibility, I need to evaluate on finance, HR, marketing, operation, and based on EPS suitability, how much is the rank of my project, and then I need to check and best alternative decision. Now, overall, if I want to take a decision about project selection in capital budgeting, I basically target the first thing that this project should be technically wide and feasible. This project should not making any violation of any legal compliances as well as underline trends or set up benchmark in industry. This project is not hampering or against any social impact or image so that it will be a controversial issues. And when I selecting a project, I should always ensure the expert advice and skills to make his optimum returns. So, if I want to make maximum from capital budgeting decision, I need to first understand the nature of requirement. I need to effectively analyze the requirement and plan for source. I need to manage strategic balance between quantity and qualitative outputs. And ultimately, I need to ensure that all the decisions are matching to my ultimate goal. So this is all about capital budgeting. Now we are almost done with all topics and all units revision. We are already had a discussion about dividend policy. So let's revise dividend policy once again. And I will take the question papers and we'll discuss the question papers. Then we'll end this session. So first thing, what is dividend policy and why firms pay the dividend? Basically, dividend is an amount which is paid to the investors to keep their interest, to be them loyal with the organization. So the firms pay dividend to create an growth opportunity, to create a value proposition, and to satisfy the need and expectation of investors. The key motive of paying dividend is create a trust and give hint of progress. When I'm paying maximum dividend, it indicates that company is doing well and people create trust. It is a signaling effect where dividend indicates a confidence about future expectations and ability. Dividend is a kind of motivation for stakeholders and other operators that firm is progressively working and one is having advantage over the other. Similarly, when I'm having more dividend payments, it enhances the future sound valuation and expectation about cash flow and limitless operational experience and excess abilities for disciplined capital allocation. Now, what are the factors that are influencing dividend? The internal factors are motivation, profitability levels, the financial flexibility and data's management, strategic policies about flow of money, fund allocation methods, management of working capital, management of stock, that is, if you're doing inventory, management of operating expenses and liabilities, whereas external factors are market condition, economic environment, technological changes, legal changes, industrial norms, competitive positioning, and so on. When I want to pay a dividend, I need to first issue a notice for AGM, that is annual general meeting. In notice, I need to give this notice for 21 days. The notice should reach at least 14 days prior to the meeting. I required two-third quorum of total population to be present. I need to present the audited financial reports and I need to give a conference about future expectations. Then I need to propose the possible rate of dividend and get it approved first from board of directors, then from shareholders, and then find out a benchmark date, which we will call as a lockout date. So on that lockout date, those who are holding my company shares, they will be having advantage. Now let's find out the three most important: one, bonus share; second, right shares; and third, split up shares. Bonus shares means distribution of free shares without charging any amount, whereas right shares means the shares are given to the existing members as a priority right compared to the external people. And stock split up means dividing the current shares in more than one. For example, if I have one share of 10 rupees, it is divided. If 5 rupees, then I'll get two shares. If it is divided in 3 rupees, I'll get three shares, so on. So stock split up will keep your value same, but the bonus shares and right share will increase your value of investment. When I get a bonus share, normally the value appreciation is high, and when I get a right share, the value appreciation is second largest. And in case of split up, my value remains same. In stock split up, what I'll do is I just restructuring my company and giving opportunity to divide the stock into multiple shares. So my subscribed amount of capital is divided into multiple investors, and I can have one more opportunity to claim more capital, and it will help me to manage my authorized capital. The most important part in capital budgeting is share buyback. It is something called booking your profit into losses. When I do share buyback, I need to offer an redemption price for shareholders, and I will just buy shares based on EPS or the cash holding positions. This buyback of shares will absorb my profit and my tax liability will reduce. This repurchase always creates hike and more trust about the company, and it is one of the flexible alternatives for tax management and excessive cash flow arrangements. Then what is different between buyback and dividend? Buybacks are more strategic than the dividend decisions. Dividend decisions are more complex and have a legal normality, whereas I required to pay the huge taxation in case of dividend, and they will not have financial flexibility, but they will have market effect. If the companies are paying dividend, they are effectively giving signal that company is progressively performing well. Whereas I'm going for buybacks, it will create an flexibility approach, and it will not having larger tax invitations, whereas it will help me to retain the funds which I can use for future references or my future use. So in short, buyback is a more strategic than the dividends, but dividends are more complex and legal norms. Now let's understand what are the dividend policies in practice. The first is a stable dividend policy, where companies are paying a constant rate of returns. These stable dividend policies are more likely like secure government policies, and the companies are paying dividend. The advantage of this dividend policy is I know the fixed rate of return and I'm sure about payment of dividend. But in case of higher profits, the equity owners they will not get share because the rate of dividend is not changing with the rate of profits. Similarly, in case of stable dividend policy, the options of buyback, right shares, and split ups are not so good because the rate of dividend already decided. In case of residual dividend policy, that is the dividend is based on profit generation, I'm always having upper hand when the inflationary gains are there. But these policies are based on residual values, so it indicates you that if no profits are generated, I'm not getting dividend. So surety about regularization is not in regular residual dividend policy. And the third approach about dividend is hybrid, where I can combine stable and residual dividend policy based on my strategic need and available profits. If I take a real world example, Coca-Cola is a favorable dividend which has a stable dividend policy, and it is continuously paying the dividend as uniform rates. Whereas FMCG goods, technical products, and technical giants, they are more growth focused strategies where they are always paying higher dividend rates and keeping the confidence. In case of the technology company or companies which are having more deep research requirements, they follow hybrid approach and try to optimum balance between mature and growth to keep the trust and confidence of investors with them. There are certain dividend models. Just revise it. The first is Walters model. As per this model, rate of return and cost of capital, these are only two factors. I need to ensure that my rate of return should be more than cost of capital. That means if I borrow the capital at 10%, then my profit should be more than my interest rate. Because if the profit is more, ultimately it will generate excessive returns and help my organization to get more money. If the returns are less than cost of capital, then my firm will struggle to optimize the value creation and I need to do short borrowings. The mathematical formula for this is share price is equal to dividend per share plus earning minus dividend into rate of interest divided by cost of capital, and whole this is divided as a cost of capital. The second model is Gordon model. It is called as a bird in the hand theory. As per this model, the future uncertainty I need to answer by growth. This model assumes a continuous growth rate and use the formula price of share equal to next year dividend divided by required return minus growth rate. Then we have MM propositions. These propositions are on two values. One, the tax is more important, and second, apart from tax, there is no other factor which implies. Now, when we talk about integration of all these models, these models basically give me optimum value proposition and optimum capital allocation. These models serve as dynamic base for taking any investment decision when I'm investing in any other firm. These models will help me to analyze the financial capacity and illusion of other companies and understand the favorism and part of reciprocal for making my investment decisions. So this all about our syllabus. So now let's discuss about question papers. The first paper, now these all papers I had downloaded from this website called sppqquestionpapers.com. If you want to access, you can use this website and you can download the question papers of previous years. This is paper of 2022. Let me zoom out for your convenience. Now, the first question is normally the regular question where you will get 5 to 8 options and you have to solve any 5. Please remember, while writing these answers, please use optimum knowledge you can have and try to give at least example because only the answer will not give marks if your answer is wrong. So answer with example is required. The first question is define financial planning. So we need to explain financial planning is exclusive process where I'm going to study about future requirements, their appreciation, and current financial plan to meet that obligation. What do you mean by capitalization? The capitalization is a process of selecting the best capital, finding the best source of financing capital, and applying the logical values and considerations to the amount of capital and its utilization. Then cash management is managing of cash. Dividend is amount paid to investors. Value-based management is ethical application to finance decisions. Leverage is cost of borrowing, and bonus share is free shares without any amount given to the investors. Then we have question two. In question two of advanced financial management, we have normally more than three questions or three questions, and I have to solve any two questions. So question one, each sub question is for 2 marks, whereas in question three, I have to solve two questions. So each question will have 5 marks. For each question, I need to first introduce, define, and then explain. And this will get you 5 marks. For example, what is the process of capital budgeting? Then I should define the capital budgeting. I should talk about factor affecting, and then I should make a list of capital budgeting. Please remember when any process, any factors are asked, you have to optimize and find out the maximum T diagrams are followed. So that drawing a diagram here will give advantage. Then discuss the objective of trade credit. This is a purely theory question. Then they are asking difference between interim dividend and final dividend. Please remember when you're writing for 5 marks, the 5 point of difference should be there to get all these 5 marks. The question three is normally fund flow or cash flow. So it can be a numerical of fund flow and option cash flow. Or sometimes it is the option of fund flow to fund flow. So you will get numerical on fund flow and cash flow because as per your syllabus, it is expected to find it. Then question number four, you'll see here I need to do the capital budgeting. They are given me percentage or to that is the capital budgeting. So capital budgeting numerical is going to be part of your question paper. You cannot keep this as option. So you have to practice capital budgeting numericals and be ready for question because they are for 10 marks. The question number five is about project valuation and decision making based on project valuation. So this is about one paper. Let's talk about the paper of November 2022. Now, the question one again is of 5 questions you have to solve out of 8, and for each question you got 2 marks. So whenever the define is asked, I need to have systematic definition, and after definition, I need to elaborate with at least example, concept, or demo. The second question is define optimum capital structure. Now here I need to take talk about what is capital structure, and then I have to define what is optimum capital structure. After that, if possible, I need to share the practical example. The third is what are the prime assumptions of net operating income. Now please remember net income and net operating income, these are traditional theories. So government interfere, tax rate, change in technology, stakeholder, these all factors are constant. Then Explain the term capital rationing. Here we'll talk about first what is the capital, its importance, and then we have to analyze what is the rationing. In capital rationing, I need to analyze first meaning, then meaning of capital, and then how I allocate the capital. The next is what is mean by scenario analysis. In scenario analysis, I have five scenarios. One, technology. Second, HR. Third, production. Fourth, legal, that is government laws. And fifth, financial. So under five, I need to give example what are the contents. For example, finance, it can be profit, loss, cost, and so on. In government, it can be taxes, policy, and norms. In marketing, it can be product positioning, product branding, product costing, and all this. Then what is meant by holding cash for transaction motive? It means I am holding money for my transaction purpose. Then what is meant by treasury bill? Treasury bills are government securities which I can use as investment options. Then what is meant by stability of dividends? Stability of dividend indicates the regular dividends paid by company. Now we give an example of Coca-Cola. Please remember that, and you'll get a good score. Then question number two, we have to solve any two out of three. In all this question number two, when you're solving University of Pune, please remember you should have introduction, 2 marks, capital definition, if any, 2 marks, and example, 1 mark. So this will make your total 5 marks. If you draw any diagram or make any underline key points, then it will give a good marks. Normally, capital structure, dividend policies, and first unit, you will get three questions. For cash flow, fund flow, for EVA, for capital budgeting, you will normally get numericals. So let's see the question number three. Question number three, you have to prepare the fund flow, and if or it will show the cash flow statement. So fund flow and cash flow both are there. But if you compare question number four, it is always capital budgeting and there is no option. So if I'm preparing for examination, numerical on capital budgeting is a compulsory mandate because it will give me 10 marks. In case of cash flow and fund flow, either or one is asked and again 10 marks. So 20-mark questions are there. And the third they ask the questions is about selecting a project. So rarely you will be asked questions on capital structure or dividend policy, but regular questions are cash budget, cash flow or fund flow. So I need to prepare these two chapters thoroughly. Now let's talk about the third paper. Again, the pattern will be same. The first question will have 8 options. I have to solve any 5 options, and out of 5 options, each will have 2 marks. First, introduce and define, or I need to first define and then explain with the example. In any in any question where the two factors, two reasons, two policies, then for each answer, I'll get 1 mark. For example, in question number 1B, give two reasons of company merge. So for each reason, it will give 1 mark. Or in option D, which two factors influence dividend policy? Then I have to give two factors which are influencing. If you can write the meaning of dividend policy, then the checker will be more delighted and will get exact more marks. Then if you see option, what do you mean by portfolio restructuring? Here you have to first explain what is a portfolio, what is restructuring, and then you have to write the meaning of portfolio restructuring. So in this paper of 2023, you can see they are asking two reasons, two meanings, two examples, two models. Everywhere you have to explain the models and define and give example of two. Now, if you see question number two, it will again has 3 questions, and out of 3, I have to solve 2 questions. In question number 2, I need to ensure that I should have introduction, definition, explanation, example, and comparison. These 5 points, irrespective of question asked. For example, role of factoring is asked, then I have to talk about meaning, example, types, and comparison with other, that is discounting and so on. If dividend policy and its factor I studying, then I need to define and understand meaning of dividend, its policy types, and compare with the other disciplines. Then question number 3, if you can see, it's a fund flow statement, whereas question number 4, it's a cash flow statement. So you are getting continuously three numericals. One is fund flow against cash flow. Second, you are getting capital budgeting. And third, you either get EVA or dividend policy or capital structure. Now let's discuss the last paper, that is 2024 paper. In 2024 paper, again the pattern remains same, and they are asking two things: list two factors, what is my stock spirit, explain merger. So for each factor, I need to explain one example each. And if I analyze the numericals, the fund flow statement, it is there, and option to fund flow is cash flow. The fourth question is about capital budgeting, and fifth question is dividend policy. So if you're preparing for examination, I need to prepare the numerical on cash flow, fund flow, capital budgeting, and this will be at least list requirement for your AFM. As per syllabus, there are 6 topics given, but the variation is happen on last question, either on dividend policy, capital structure, or any other. I'm just analyzing the values. So if I have to seriously understand, I need to manage my applications and my things and plan accordingly the contents. So we'll just discuss the syllabus. We have seen the question papers. Let's see the syllabus and let's understand how you can plan for getting good marks. So this is your syllabus. As per syllabus, you have numericals on EVA, capital budgeting, cash flow and fund flow, and residual management. So if you have seen the papers, cash flow, fund flow, capital budgeting, these three numericals are always there. And optional is EVA, capital structure, and dividend policy. So I will just share by email the important questions. You can just go through that. But please be ready for these numericals, because if you get a backlog of AFM, it is like something weird, because this backlog can be removed under any case. You have to seriously study for AFM. Any other finance subject is damn easy, but you need to completely analyze the AFM as serious concern and prepare and focus about AFM study. The first unit is corporate restructuring and corporate evaluation. This sub unit number one is more theory oriented. On this chapter, only EVA numericals can be asked. Otherwise, sorry, on flow, cash flow, and EVA, these three numericals are possible. They will ask you questions on financial distress. Otherwise, no theory questions are possible on Unit 1. In other subject, Unit 1 is for theory, but here the Unit 1 is maximum for numerical. The Unit 2, that is the capital structure and firm value. Here, you need to learn about theory 80%. Here, if you learn the theories, you need to understand who has proposed these theories like net income approach, net operating income, traditional MM, sensitive, and so on. Then you have to remember their formulas and you have to explain by taking an example. So on second unit, you will get a theory, but for long questions. The third question is about capital budgeting. On this chapter, again, numerical is strongly expected. Sometimes this unit is also asked for MCQs. In case of fourth unit, that is working capital management, as per your syllabus, no numericals are going to be asked. They are going to concentrate purely on theory. So prepare this fourth unit for theory purpose only. No numericals need to practice and so on. The last unit is dividend policy. So either capital structure or dividend policy, you will get similar nature. So in capital structure and dividend policy theories, you need to understand the proposed theory, objectives, their statement, their meaning, and application along with the formula. The syllabus itself said that numericals are 60% and theory is 40%. So, dear students, when you're preparing for examinations, please pay attention towards numerical because they are 60%. And as per them, we need to have numericals for fund flow and cash flow, compulsory, capital budgeting, compulsory, reserve management, compulsory. So, plan your paper accordingly. Now, this is all about revision and question papers. Let us talk about how we are dealing with the question paper. In question number one, normally I have five options. So what you need to do is, please, if MCQ is there, you can finish the question number one fast. If question number three, where the capital budgeting numerical is there, take it the second question. For fund flow and cash flow, take the third. And normally the questions about sensitivity analysis, scenario analysis, or question about dividend policy, or question about capital structure, keep this question as last. Please do not keep your MCQ or 2 marks question as the last. Complete as quickly can possible. Because if you keep them pending in a hurry, you might be in a wrong interpretation, and even you know the answer, you can have miscommunication or misunderstanding, and that will result in losing your grades. So don't keep this pattern for your question paper. First, go with the capital budgeting numerical, then go with scenario analysis, then go with cash flow fund flow, then receivable management and value of firm. So this is all about your question paper. This is all about your syllabus. We are started our journey and we have finished almost 30, 35 sessions. So we are done more than required. If it is required and you want that we should do numerical practice, please communicate with your signatures that how many students are going to come. Then we can conduct the offline session for practice. Urge for numerical practice should be from your side. So if any doubt, please visit the college or email me. I'll try to solve the queries and practice maximum, prepare well, and don't create backlog on additional payment. So all the best to all of you. Thank you for being part of sessions and thank you for being part of all the sessions of advanced financial management. If anybody has anything to say or anything they are done, they can discuss. Now, three most important on 14th and 15th, you already see your mail. We are going to have finance workshop, and this workshop is free of cost, and all of you are going to get a certificate. Please ensure all finance students are attending this session, and this is offline. So please plan this session as holiday. Those who are working, because Diwali is starting on 17th, so plan accordingly. Number two, you received a mail that XLR is giving online certification course in electric vehicles. So please register for the same. And last, tomorrow 4 dimension session is scheduled at 11:30. Please log in 15 minutes before the session and renew yourself as per the login format. Please attend the maximum sessions. Please participate and attentive and respond to the all questions and comply with all legal norms to appear for examination. It is also appeal to see the concurrent evaluation schedule and follow the same for your writing assignments and submission of marks. Please now plan seriously. This is third, and from 16th you got Diwali. So your Diwali will start after 10 days. After Diwali, you got only 15 days to finish your all learnings. This time, your project may possible before examination. So please plan your all things in a proper way. Enjoy your holidays, enjoy your work, enjoy your Diwali, but plan for all the syllabus of AFM. At any time, at least 2 days prior, please inform me that anything you require more. I can conduct one more online session or I can call you offline. Even I'm Sunday open to help you, but need to have crowd. One and two students, I'm not going to help out. So this all about advanced financial management. I already finished direct taxation and notes for AFM and direct taxation are uploaded on website. I have uploaded notes in handouts and Word file. The handouts are PPT and Word file contains detailed notes. Please go through that. If any doubt, please ask me. I'm open to all your queries and help. So all the best for your examination and hopefully all will shine with the bright colors and pass the exam of advanced financial management successfully. So all the best and thank you for being patient and continuous motivation for me and attending this online session. Those who are not attended, it's their fault and nobody can help out more to them. So thank you. Wish you a wonderful day ahead. Good night.